Hello everyone, and this is the lecture series of Operation Research subject, and the course code of this subject is ME405, unit number 4th, and this series lecture number is 29. And today I will discuss about the sampling techniques. This sampling techniques used to it is very helpful for the use of sampling collection. So my introduction, myself Rahul Kumar, Assistant Professor of Mechanical Engineering, Suresh Gyan Vihar University, Jaipur. So in this topic I will discuss about the different types of sampling techniques and methods of the sampling, and how to collect the sample from some random sample, some the specified sample, and one more thing is here in this lecture. One is the sampling error. If any error produced in sampling process, so what kind of error associated with it? So this type of here different types of numbers of error are created for the collection of this sample, like random collection or any other kind of collection here. So if I am talking about this sampling, so sampling is a process used in statistical analysis in which a predetermined number of observations are taken from a larger population, and the methodology used to sample from a larger population depends on the type of analysis being performed, but it may be include simple random sampling or systematic sampling is here. And if I am divide this sampling, it may be different types. So in the last class means last series of lecture, this is the lecture number 28. I will also describe the two types of sampling. One is the random sampling, and are any other types of sampling. So come to the objectives of this topic. So for the objectives of the topic, by the end of this section you should be able to understand about the scientific control of materials should serve the following purposes. The sampling provide a continuous flow of required material, parts and component for efficient and uninterrupted flow of production. And you know the class of sampling errors and what types of error will occur in the sampling, and how to minimize the investment in inventories keeping in view operating requirement, and the sampling to provide for efficient store of material so that inventories are protected from the loss by fire and theft, and handling time and cost are kept at minimum, and to keep surplus and absolute items to minimum here. And these are the some points regarding to sampling. And in this lecture, just you give the strategy-wise sampling and the random sampling and what type of errors associated with it. So we will discuss one by one in this chapter. These are the quantitative sampling. For the quantitative sampling, this comprises of the one type of sampling includes random sampling, block sampling, judgment sampling, and systematic sampling. And some companies are use sampling as a marketing tool to identify the needs and wants of their target market. And some companies, this sampling process are used in certified public accounts, right? And this is used for the audit purpose and determine the accuracy and completeness of the account balances. So sampling is very important for this quality check. So in many mechanical industries, quality check or the quality engineers uses this type of techniques, quantitative sampling. So some are the issues related to this quantitative sampling. These are representation, generalization, and sampling error. For the representation case, the extent to which the sample is representative by the population means by the number of collection of pieces or products, and the generalization, the extent to which the results of the study can be reasonably extended from the sample to the population, and the sampling error, the chance of occurrence that a randomly selected sample is not representative of the population due to error inherent in the sampling technique. So these are the different kinds of error associated with it, and here there is a type of sampling for the quantitative researchers. These are the two types of sampling. First one is probability samples and second one is non-probability samples. For the probability samples, for the case of probability samples, in this type of samples, just some probability it will correct this thing, or some probability it will happen this is incorrect. Magar here in this case 50-50 probability or 60-40, and the maximum probability for this case is 100%. So the ratio of between two, right, always exists. But here non-probability samples, the result it will give or yes or no also. If sample is matched, then it gives the result just like as a this will happen, but in probability sample this will be happen, right? This, yeah. So like this, and for the non-probability sample, these are the results are yes or no only, right? So these are the some methods of the selecting random sampling. So already you know the probability sampling, and best method to achieve and representative samples are the here is 4 techniques. First one is random, second is stratified random, third is cluster, and then systematic technique. So we have already discussed in the previous lecture series 28 random and stratified random techniques for the collection of random sampling, and today I will discuss about the cluster and systematic sampling. So today I will discuss only cluster and systematic sampling. For the cluster and systematic sampling, so first I will discuss about this cluster sampling. So cluster sampling, this is a one type of sampling, or this is based on the probability based, right? So this is a third type of sampling, and the process of randomly selecting intact groups. The process of randomly selecting intact groups, not individual, within the defined population sharing similar characteristics, and clusters are location within which an intact group of members of the population can be found. These are the examples of neighborhoods, school districts, schools, and the classroom. For the cluster sampling, just you see here, cluster is a probability type of sampling techniques where researchers divide are this population divide the population into multiple groups for the research, and researcher then select random groups with a simple random or systematic random sampling techniques for data collection and data analysis. And I will give here one example. This is a very good example for this. So a researcher want to conduct a study to judge the performance of some scientific instruments, and it is impossible to conduct a research study that involves in every university. So instead, by using cluster sampling, the researcher can club the universities from each city into one cluster, and these clusters then define all the data of the student population, and using simple random sampling or systematic random sampling, and randomly pick the clusters from the research study, and subsequently by using simple or systematic sampling, the researchers from each of the selected cluster can be chosen on whom to conduct the research study. And in these techniques, the researcher or the study person analyze a sample that consists of multiple sample parameters such as demographics, habits, backgrounds, or any other population like attributes, which may be focused on the conducted the research. And this method is usually conducted when group that are similar yet inherently diverse from the statistical population, and instead of the selecting the entire population, cluster sampling allows a way to define the research to collect data by bifurcating the data into small or more productive groups into smaller, more productive groups here. But for this conclusion, cluster sampling gives a one definition, and this definition shows the this is a one method where the researchers or investigator create multiple clusters of the people from a population where they are indicative of homogeneous characteristics and have an equal chance of being a part of sample here. And for the present scenario, this is a pandemic era. How to know this area is affected and this area is not affected? This is depend on the sampling process only. So here the sampling process, suppose first you divide this whole city into a small clusters, and these clusters is very useful for the collecting the information. Suppose in Jagatpura or the Sanganer or the one Malviya Nagar area or any other types of area, just you divide it into the small clusters, and daily you collect the samples, and these sample identified means how many persons are identified per day for the corona patient or a moderate patient like this, and then do a study on this sample and just define give the result like this. This area is free and this is not free based on the result, right? So here the best example is here neighborhoods, school districts, schools, and the classroom. So for this clustering, so these are some advantage and disadvantage. These are some advantage and disadvantage of the clustering sample. So for the advantage case, it is very useful when population are large. It is a very useful when population are large and spread over a large geographic region. Spread over a large geographic region, and it is convenient and expedient, and it do not need the names of everyone in the population. It do not need the names of the everyone in the population. So disadvantage for this case, representation is likely to become an issue, right? And it creates a representation issue. And for this case, cluster sampling, these are the different types of cluster sampling. These are the some single stage cluster sampling, two stage cluster sampling, and the multiple stage cluster sampling. And so these are the different types of cluster sampling are present here. So before going to the selection of this cluster sampling, first you know how many types of cluster sampling are used in this case. For the cluster sampling process, here are the so I am talking about the types of the cluster sampling. So the types of the cluster sampling, here there are two ways to classify this sampling techniques. The first way is based on the number of stages followed. Number of the stages followed to obtain the cluster sample. And second way is to representation of the group in the entire clusters. In most cases, sampling by clusters happens over multiple stages, and a stage is considered to be the step taken to get the desired sample. And for this purpose, we can divide this cluster sampling into different types of stages, just like as a single stage, two stage, and multiple stage. So for the first single stage sampling, cluster sampling, as the name suggests, sampling is done just once. For example, this is a one good example. An NGO want to create a sample of girls across 5 neighbors town to provide education. Using single stage sampling, the NGOs randomly select towns clusters to form a samples and extend help to the girls, and divide the education in those towns. For this two-stage sampling, here instead of the selecting all the elements of the clusters, only a handful of members are chosen from each group by implementing systematic or simple random sampling. And I will give one example of this sampling is here. A business owner want to explore the performance of her plants that are spread across various parts of the city. The owner creates clusters of the plant, and she then selects random samples from these clusters to conduct research. And for this purpose, we using here multi-stage clustering sample. For this multi-stage sampling, just you take this step for a few steps further than two-stage sampling, right? And for conducting effective research, across multiple geographics, one need to form completed cluster then can be achieved by using multiple stage sampling techniques. For example, an organization intends to survey to analyze the performance of the products, some mechanical products across the whole India or across the Jaipur only, and they can divide the entire city population into small number of clusters and select these clusters with the highest population, and also filter those using these devices, right? So here different types of clusters used to steps to conduct the cluster sampling. First you create the selection process. So for this selection process, first you identify the population and determine the desired sample size. For this sample, decide the target audience and also the sample size. And create and evaluate sample frame. Sample frames, and for this sample frame, just sample frames just evaluate by the based on the coverage and clustering, and make adjustment accordingly, and these groups will be varied considering the population, which can be exclusive and comprehensive. Members of a samples are selected individually. And identify and define the logical cluster, and make a one list for all type of cluster population of the cluster, and estimate the average number of population members per clusters. And then you move to the next step. This is the determine the number of cluster needed by dividing the samples size by the estimated size of a cluster. For this purpose, you can determine the group. This is the selection of the group inside the clusters. So determine the number of groups by including the same average members in each group. So make sure each of these groups are distinct from one another. So select clusters for this basis and applying random selection. Suppose you have 10 types of clusters, different types. So this is a one cluster and another one this cluster. Collect 3 samples from this cluster and take this cluster. You have a 4 sample. So, and this is the random select and needed number of clusters. Include in the study of individual in each selected clusters for this case, and create the sub types, and it is the bifurcated into 2 stages and the multi-stage also. So these subtypes based on the number of steps followed by the researchers to form clusters, and these are the here. This is the figure. shows the different types of cluster distribution. Suppose here is population, this is cluster 1, this is cluster 2, this is cluster 3, and here collect the some random samples, randomly sample within each clusters, and then these sample divided into these 3 groups. First one is sample 1, sample 2, and this sample 3 types of groups, and this is here. Next sampling technique is, this is a 4th type of technique. This is the systematic sampling. This is the systematic sampling is here. For this systematic sampling, just you know where is this type of sampling is used. For the systematic sampling, this is a one type of statistical sampling methods that researchers use to zero down on the desired population they want to research, and researchers calculate the sampling interval by dividing the entire population size and by the desired sample size. And the systematic sampling is an extended implementation of the probability, and in which each member of the groups are selected at regular period of a form a sample, and for this purpose it is a probability based sampling. And this systematic sampling is defined as the probability sampling method, whereas the researcher chooses element from a target population by selecting a random starting point and selects sample members after a fixed sampling interval. For this purpose, I will give one example for this. In school, while selecting the captain of a sports team, so most of our coaches asked us to call out numbers such as 1 to 5. So, and the students with random number decided by the coach. For instance, 3 would be called out to be captain of different team. It is a not stressful selection process for both of the coach and players. There are equal opportunity to every member, but expect from this, if coach is select, so coach knows the all type of players. Coach knows the which is better and which is not better. But any unknown person select this type of captain over the 11 player, so they don't know about the characteristics and behavior and all things about and performance of the players. So this is a type of systematic sampling. So there an equal opportunity for every member of the population to be selected using a sampling technique, right? So here are some advantage and disadvantage for this case. So for this advantage, it is very easily done, right? It is very easily done because one known person always know who is the best and who is the loser, right? This, or who is the falter person in here, right? But disadvantage is here the whole population divided into subgroups. So this is the very difficult task, and some members of the population don't have an equal chance of being included because of if your here is one very big thing is hidden here. If any person whose judgment is not good, who's not in good judgment, so this create always partiality, or it gives always partial type of decision, right? It gives a partial type of decision. So this is the this creates this type of disadvantage in this case, and this provide the systematic sampling selection process. And how systematic sampling works, and for this purpose you first identify and define the population area. First you identify and define the population area and determine the desired sample size. After all, you maintain the list of the population and determine the which person is best in inside the list, and determine what k is equal to by dividing the size of the population by the desired sample size, and start at some random place in the population list and take every kth individual on this list here. And for this purpose, when you are sampling, ensure you represent the population fairly. And for this case, suppose Sachin Tendulkar, if I am taking example of Sachin Tendulkar, or one new player just like I don't know the name, but take the example of Sachin Tendulkar and Saurav Ganguly and Rahul Dravid. These are the some match players represent the Indian territory from the India, right? And systematic sampling is a symmetrical process. This is a one type of symmetrical process. So start at some random place in the population list, and take every kth individual on this list, every kth individual on the list. So for this purpose, you select or choose the sample after a specifically defined interval, and sampling lies this leaves the researchers no room for the bias regarding choosing the sampling. And to understand how systematic sampling exactly work, and take the example of the gym class or any other type of classes, and this ask the student to line up and ask every third person to step out of the line. Here the instructors has no influence over choosing the samples and can accurately represent the class. So for this class of the sampling, this is the systematic sampling example is here. One is if a local NGO is seeking to form a systematic sample of 500 volunteers from the population of 500, they can select every 10th person in the population to build a sample systematically, right? So this is a one way to selecting the team leaders and to selecting the team achievers in this case, right? And then move to the next slide. Oh, sorry. So this is the example of one systematic sample. For this systematic sample, to here one example is given to select a sample of 25 dorm rooms. Select the sample, a sample of 25 dorm room in your college dorms, and makes a list of all rooms numbers in the dorm. For example, there are 100 rooms divided the total number of room 100 by the number of rooms you want to in the sample 25, and here answer is 4. This means that you are going to select every fourth dorm room for the list, and first of all you have to determine the random starting point, and this step can be done by picking any point on the table of random numbers and read across the down until you come to the number between 1 and 4, and this is your random starting point. For instance, your random starting point is 3, and this means that you select dorm rooms 3 as your first room, and then every fourth room down the list 3, 7, 11, 15, 9th, etc. until you have 25 rooms selected for this case. So these are the different kinds of examples. And then for the sampling size, and this is the given by the definition by according to Uma Sekaran in research method for business 4th edition. This is the purpose of the rule of this thumb of the determine the sample size, where sample size is larger than 30 or less than 500 are appropriate for most researchers, and minimum size of the sample should be 30% of the population, and the size of the sample depends on a number of factors, and the researchers have to give the statistically information before they can get an answer. For example, these information like confidence level, standard deviation, margin of error, and population size to determine the sample size. So this is a very good example for this sampling. And then move to the next stage here. Next, what type of sampling size are systematic sampling. So systematic sampling are 3 types. Here types are not given, but systematic sampling are 3 types. First is systematic random sampling, linear systematic sampling, and the circular systematic sampling. For this purpose, for this systematic random sampling, so this is a method to select the samples at a particular present interval, example. This I have already given example of this method. For this method, select a random starting point between 1 and the sampling interval, and below this is a first calculate a fixed sample interval, right, and choose the random starting point between 1 and the sampling interval, and lastly repeat the sample interval to choose subsequent element. And the linear systematic sampling, for this linear systematic sampling, so linear systematic sampling is a systematic sampling method where samples are not repeated at the end of n units, are selected to be a part of a sample having n population units, rather than selecting these n units of a sample randomly. A researcher can apply a skip logic to select these. It follows a linear path, and these steps stops at the end of this particular population, and this sample gives the skip interval here, total number of units divided by sample size, right? And the last thing is here circular systematic sampling. In the circular systematic sampling, a sampling start again from the same point. Means in circle, just you move here, then after some interval you can stop same point here where you was start, right? So these are the some selecting random sampling examples and move to the applications of this sampling, systematic sampling. So for this application of the systematic sampling, it requires the budget restriction, uncomplicated implementation, absence of data pattern, and low risk of data manipulation in the research. So, and we move to the next section of this lecture. This is the MCQ section. So we move to the first question of this multiple choice question. The first question is here: which of the following is not an inventory? For this case of this here, which of the following is not an inventory? So here is A option is machines, raw material, finished product, and consumable tools. So A option is right here. This is the machine. This is not a following inventory is here. So, and question number 2, the following classes of cost are usually involved in an inventory decision except first one is cost of ordering, carrying cost, cost of shortages, and machining cost. So example D is the right answer. So question number 1 gives the A is the right answer, and question number 2 D is the right answer, machining cost. And move to the third question. For this question number 3, suppose we want to make a voter list for the general election 2009. Then we require sampling error, random error, census, and simple error. So for this purpose we require here census. And then fourth so C option is right here. And then selection of football team. Question number 4 gives the selection of the football team for FIFA World Cup is called as random sampling, systematic sampling, purposive sampling, and the cluster sampling. So C is the purposive sampling. C option is right answer for this question. And 5 question, the sampling error is defined as difference between population and parameter, difference between sample and parameter, difference between population and sample, difference between parameter and sample. So the correct answer is here. So sampling error always depend on the difference between population and sample is here. So C is the correct answer for this question. Then move to question number 6. Which of the following is true for inventory control? So economic order quantity has a minimum total cost per order. Inventory carrying cost increases with quantity per order, and ordering cost decreases with low size, and all of the above. So the answer of this question. So here D option is right. This is the all of the above. Right? And so correct answer is here all of the above. Right? And then move to the question number 7. For this question number 7, which of the following is a subset of population? Which of the following is a subset of population? So A option is distribution, B sample, C data, and D is set. So the correct answer is here sample. Sample is the correct answer for this answer. And then move to the last question. This is the question number 8 here. In which the following type of sampling the information is carried out under the opinion of an expert? This is the quota sampling, convenience sampling, purposive sampling, and judgment sampling. So D option is right here. D is the correct answer of this question. So this is the right answer. Judgment sampling is the right answer. And then move to the next question. This is the 9th question, And for this question, the difference between the sample value expects and the estimate value of the parameter is called. This is called the A option is here bias, and B is error, C is contradiction, D is difference. So the correct answer is here bias. Bias is the correct answer for this question. And then move to the next question, question number 10. This is the last question of this series of this lecture. So what does the central limit theorem states? Right? So the correct answer is here A is the correct answer for this question. If the sample size increases, sampling distribution must approach normal distribution, and if the sample size decreases, then the sample distribution must approach normal distribution. If the sample size increases, then the sample distribution must approach an exponential distribution. If the sample size decreases, then the sampling distribution must approach an exponential distribution for this case. So you can, these are the different types of references we have used in this lecture. If you want more information about this sampling or other thing, then you follow these references. And thank you for this lecture. Thank you all of you. Thank you.